Hey guys, how you doing? This is AJ, coming to you live-ish from Pattaya, Thailand. It's been a couple weeks since I've done a video. We were recovering from the holidays and everything else, but I'm right back at you here in the middle of January. What I'm going to talk about today, and I've talked about it a little bit in my videos before, but I'm going to go into it at length today, is safety and security when you come to Pattaya, Thailand. Recently, and it's been in the news here as well, quite a few people have passed away that I'm familiar with and that I know. Both girls, both guys coming on holiday, tourists, bar managers alike. Some of them were from sicknesses and things like that, and I've commented that in past videos, and some were motorbike accidents. So I want to talk a little bit about general safety and security. I have a full video about motorbikes before and whether or not it's safe, so I'm not going to touch on that much today. But what I'm going to bring up is probably 4 or 5 quick tips to make sure that your holiday, when you come to Pattaya, goes well. So number one, Pattaya is a very safe city. I feel safer here walking around Pattaya than I ever did back in the United States in most cities. And that includes walking around at 4 o'clock in the morning on the beach, absolutely wasted, wandering down random dark soys, etc. I've commented before on dogs, and that can sometimes be a hazard, but not really in the tourist areas. Once you get out past the tourist areas, that's more of a hazard. But you know, like anywhere else in the world, you need to be aware of yourself. Most of the people that get into trouble with pickpockets, which is a hazard here unfortunately, are the ones that are way too drunk, just stumbling around and have no self-consciousness of their own belongings or possessions. And somebody approaches them, generally in a group of 2, to give them a hug or to touch them. Now me, and everybody jokes with me, I actually don't like being touched, period. So if somebody touches me, I immediately move away. But a lot of people, when they're drunk, they'll go ahead and they'll accept a hug, and somebody else will lift their wallet or their phone. So tip number 1, when you're walking around at night, especially in and around the beach area or walking the street, watch your belongings. I personally would suggest never have your wallet in your back pocket or your phone in your back pocket. Keep it in your front pocket. Somebody approaches you, hands in your pocket on your belongings, or wear a wallet chain or a zipper. Number 2, this sounds like common sense, but in many countries, such as India and China, wearing gold or silver is considered fashionable and a sign of wealth. Many people that I've known and have been on the news will come here wearing their gold chains in public as a sign of wealth. That's just asking for a problem. There have been issues with motorbikes zooming by, ripping the necklace off, and zooming away. I strongly suggest leave the gold, leave the silver at home. I don't wear any jewelry. I strongly suggest you don't either, or if you do, keep it very discreet under the shirt. Don't walk around with tons of gold chains, especially on the beach at night. It's asking for trouble. Otherwise, you're really not going to run into a problem. Motorbikes. Wear a helmet, guys. Recently, a young guy who was with a girl who's very well known in Pattaya passed away because he was speeding on a motorbike in a very public area at night. He also killed a Korean tourist trying to cross the street. The 2 people on the motorbike, A, speed was a factor, B, they were not wearing motorcycle helmets. If you get on a taxi, ask for a helmet. You almost never see an accident on a taxi, but the other night I was walking home and I watched a motorbike taxi, no passenger, crash into a dog that just ran in front of his path. Speed was a little bit of a factor. The driver, I believe, was okay. The dog was not. You never know what's going to happen. Now, if you're very cautious, you don't really need motorbikes. They're a fast and speedy way to get around the city. As I've discussed before, I personally feel motorbike taxis are safe. But driving yourself with no experience or driving drunk, absolutely don't do it. Common sense, wear a helmet, and safety and security on that. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4, kind of goes with the other tips. Be aware drunk. Most people get into trouble here because they're just too drunk, or they feel that they can do what they would never do back home, drink 20 shots and then stumble around and injure themselves. I've watched people fall off of railings. I've watched people doing pull-ups and push-ups on the back of the bot bus and fall off and crack their skull. It's just, some people can watch themselves drunk, some can't. General rule, what you wouldn't do at home, don't do here. have a good time, enjoy yourself. Last tip. There's not many fights here. There's not many issues, but it happens generally because of cultural differences between one country or another. Mind your own business. I mean, really, it's not that hard. Who cares what the Russians or the Chinese or the Americans or the Australians or the Indians are doing? You're here to enjoy your holiday. People obsess, oh, this guy's he sits on the beach on one beer all day. So that's up to him. That's his holiday. Oh, this guy, he's throwing ping pong balls in the go-go. He's spending so much money. That's his holiday. It always gives me a laugh why people give a fuck about that. You mind your own business. I've been here for years now and been coming almost a decade. I've never had a serious problem. I've never had a serious safety and security problem. Last thing before we check out for this week. In terms of, I've discussed before, food and water and, you know, and general dietary stuff here, I actually recommend, and based on a couple friends of mine too, take some fiber pills when you're here. A lot of people struggle with diarrhea because of the difference of food. Some people do get sick, but if you watch what you eat, a general tip, if you want to eat from the Thai street carts, look for this cart that everybody's going to and all the Thai people are going to. If it's a cart they're not, it might not be as good an idea. Especially for tourists, what generally gets them sick is the pork cart, which has been out all day in the sun, or the sushi cart. Again, why you would eat sushi that's been in the sun all day on the street cart, I don't know, but that's up to you. Alright guys, that's it for today. I'll see you next week. Please be safe out there. Take care of yourselves and each other.